Good day guys, my name is Olasende Faith. Here is a tutorial on MTS 105. In this tutorial we are going to be covering majorly the shortcuts to most of the questions, because funab exams require you not just understanding the topic, it requires also knowing faster means of getting the answer. So based on the understanding, we are going to develop shortcuts. So that's what this tutorial is all about. Let's get started. We're starting with indices and logarithm. I want to believe we all know the laws of indices. Just for the sake of understanding, let us remind ourselves. The first one, x raised to the power of a multiplied by x raised to the power of b should be x raised to the power of a plus b. Then x raised to the power of a divided by x raised to the power of b gives x raised to the power of a minus b. Then we have x raised to the power of 0 to be 1. Likewise, we have x raised to the power of minus a to be 1 all over x raised to the power of a. And this is very reasonable, because since we know x raised to the power of a is still the same as x raised to the power of 0 minus a. And we can also say that since it is 0 minus a, we can refer back to this law, that second one. We can refer back to this, then take this back to the original form, which is what this then can be written as x raised to the power of 0 divided by x raised to the power of a. We can then say, writing it in the form you guys will get well, can then say it becomes this, then x raised to the power of 0 is what? 1 all over x raised to the power of a. Okay, that is just by the way. Let's continue. Then we have x raised to the power of 1 all over a to be x 8 root of x. This the denominator comes to be the root, the value of the root with which it is going to be operated on x. And in case there is a numerator, it becomes the denominator comes to this place and the numerator comes here. I believe we know this. This is just to remind us. And likewise, let's quickly remind ourselves on logarithm, the laws of logarithm. Okay, the laws of logarithm. First one, we have log m times n to be log m plus log n. We also have log m divided by log n to be log m minus log n. Okay, we also have log n to any base raised to the power of a, and it gives us the power comes forward to become a log n to that base. Okay, we also have log a base b to be, if we can use bring into a common base to get log a base n all over log b base n. And this is very useful for those that have calculator that cannot put a value for the base. So once you have a question like this, for example, log 5 to the base of 2, what do? Since your calculator is to the common base of 10, just input log 5 base 10 divided by log 2 base 10. Then it gives you the same value as log 5 to the base of 2. Okay, let's continue. We also have log b base a to be 1 all over a base b to be 1 over log b base a. Okay, we have also log 1 to the base of any number to be 0, and likewise log n base n equals 1. Log of a number to the base of the number equals 1. And finally, we also have log a base b raised to the power of n. If the base carries a power, it becomes 1 over the reciprocal of the base, log a base b. That is very good. Okay, now that we've enlightened ourselves on the laws, let us try to treat a question, a very good question, before we focus on the shortcuts. Okay, we have some questions. We have questions like, you see, though they are very simple, you might not get stuff like that in your exam. Yeah, but before we continue, there is a formula that links log to exponents, that is log to indices. And if you have, this is the law, a equals to b raised to power c. This is the exponential form, the index form, and in logarithmic form it is c equals to log a base b. Yes, now that we know this, let's just treat 1 or 2 questions, then we focus on the shortcuts. Okay, a very simple question is this. You have log 100 to the base of 10, and you are told to simplify this. You already know that 100 is same as 10 raised to power of 2 to the base of 10. And remember that law, if your number here has a power, the power comes down outside and it becomes this. And remember, log a number base that number is 1, so at the end of the day the answer is 2. These ones are actually very cheap. You wouldn't get stuff like this in your exam. Okay, and a very cheap question you get in indices also. They are for example, you have 8 raised to power of x equals to 4. Find x. This is actually very simple. You can bring them to a common number. 2 raised to power of 3x equals to 2 raised to power of 2. Then this cancels this, or you equate their powers, then it becomes 3x equals to, then x equals to 2 all over 3. Like I said, it is very simple. And let's take it a little step forward. Now the purpose of this tutorial is to show you the shortcuts, and now that we already have the knowledge, let's just go straight into the shortcuts. Now in your exams you deal majorly with OBJ questions, and the OBJ questions we are going to use their questions. We're going to use their options to answer their question in the shortcut, and that is why I decided not to publish it as a book. Once they get it, they might want to make things difficult for you guys. Okay, so it is better as we keep it video as a video and it is online, because most of them might not really have time to check for it online. Okay, let's start with this question. 8 raised to the power of x plus 1 equals 2 raised to the power of minus 3. And you have, okay, fine. Now I want to, let's first solve this. Let's first solve it the way it should be. So that's though this one is actually, if you know what you are doing, this is actually very fast. It's something you can solve very fast even without shortcuts. Okay, now 2 raised to the power of 3 open bracket x plus 1 equals to 2 raised to the power of minus 3. We've brought them to the same number. Okay, now we have 3x plus 3 equals to minus 3. I've equated their powers and I've opened the bracket at the same time. 3x equals to minus 3 minus 3. 3x equals to minus 6. Then x equals to minus 2. Okay, that's very good. Now in your exam, if you have this in your exam, though it might not be as cheap as this other one might carry x something that is long. It might be long. It will even be long. Not might, it will be long. So this one, like I said, is actually very simple, very cheap. Something you can easily get. But then what if it is longer than this? How would you use the shortcut? Now the options might be like A 2, B minus 2, C 1, D minus 1, and you are told to pick one. Now, like I said, you are using their options to answer their question in the shortcut. So what would you do in your rough sheet? Just quickly put 2 up here. That becomes 8 raised to the power of 3 equals to 8 raised to the power of 3 is not the same as 2 raised to the power of minus 3. So this option A is out of it. Now let's try option B. 8 raised to the power of minus 2 plus 1. And also, in order for you to be able to successfully apply this, you also have to be one who can calculate mentally. So if I were doing this in exam, I would have imputed this minus 2 here myself mentally, and that would have been minus 2 plus 1, which is minus 1. So straight up I would have just written 8 raised to the power minus 1. Now remember, 8 raised to the power of minus 1, I can make this one become 2 raised to the power of 3 minus 1, then 2 raised to the power of minus 3. You see that 2 raised to the power of minus 3 is what I got on this side, which is same as what you have on the other side. So this is the answer. So merely looking at this question, I can tell you the answer even without solving anything. So that is a shortcut. Okay, and some of you might be thinking, what if this one, what if they put it at the last option here, the time with which you used to calculate this and this before you get to this, you would have done it merely with just solving it directly. Well, you are correct. You're very correct. Remember, I told you that this question is actually very simple. Now let's go to a typical question that you get in FUNAB exams. Though you get questions like this too, obviously they will not want to spoil everything for you. But let's go to a typical question you should expect. Okay, this is a question. 4 raised to the power of x minus 2 open bracket 2 raised to the power of x minus 8 equals 0. Now let me put options. You have A 2, B minus 2, C minus 1, D 1. Now let's try. One thing about FUNAB exam is that the fact that the time is ticking alone is kind of placing you under tension. Seeing a question can destabilize you. At that moment, you might not even know what to do. The best option you have is to use the shortcut. Firstly, let us try and solve this question normally, and please, you can put a stopwatch as I'm about to start now. You can kindly time. I'm going to even time myself from here. I want to time myself, calculate the time, and the time I would use it will take me to solve it the right way, the proper way. And I'm going to also calculate the time to take me to solve it using the shortcut. So based on the fact that I already know what to do, so this one becomes 2 raised to the power of 2x minus 2x 8 equals to 0. Okay, I just simplified that. Now I can see that 2x is common, so I can represent 2x as something. Let's take it as a. So writing it better, 2x. Okay, now let 2x be a square minus 2a minus 8 equals to 0. Now this is another problem. Find two numbers that you multiply together to give you minus 8. You add or subtract them to give you minus 2. This one alone can take your time. Okay, but the two numbers are 4 and 2. Then how do you combine the signs to give you, when you subtract or add them, gives you minus 2, and when you multiply, it gives minus 8. So that means one of them should have a minus, and the bigger one should have the minus. So 4 minus 4 plus 2 is minus 2. 2 minus 4 times 2 is minus 8. So that's a square minus, you see, it's already taking time. Like, I'm already spending, I've wasted almost 1 minute. No, not even almost. I've wasted 1 minute already solving this question. And in your question, you typically have at less than 30 seconds to answer a question in FUNAAB exam and FUNAAB MTS exams. Exams. Okay, so let's continue. Let's not mind the time. Let's continue. Okay, a square. Then you have 4a plus 2a minus 8 equals 0. And you have a is common, a minus 4. Then you have 2 plus 2 common to these two, a minus 4 equals 0. Okay, then you have a plus 2, bringing these two together and writing one of these, a minus 4 equals 0. Okay, now you have a equals to minus 2 and a equals to 4. Remember, the question is find x, not a. So you have to remember, we said let a equal 2 raised to the power of x. So we have to bring back a. We can't use minus 2 because it's negative, so automatically this one is cancelled. So we have 4 equals to 2 raised to the power of x, and that is 2 raised to the power of 2 x. Then x equals to 2. We finally solve it after 2 minutes. Finally solved it after 2 minutes. This is the answer. Now let us use the shortcut, and I'm going to time the shortcut exactly 1900. I'm starting the shortcut. Okay, now putting 2 inside 4, that will be 4. Sorry. Okay, let me rewrite the question and start it all over again. 4x minus 2 raised to the power of x minus 8 equals to 0. Now I am starting the shortcut. Yes, 1932. So 4 raised to the power of, I'm picking the first option, 2 minus 2 raised to the power of 2 raised to the power of 2 minus 8 equals to 0. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 4 is 16 minus this alone is 8 minus 8 equals to 0. So 16 minus 16 is definitely 0. So since I have inputted 2 and it was able to give me 0, which is the question, because the question is that everything equals 0. everything equals 0 here, it was able to give me 0, then that is the answer. I hope you understand the logic. 2 is the answer, because after I put 2, you put this option. Once you put it, anyone that can give you what this is the answer. And I solved that in the space of 20 seconds. Now imagine this one is this. Let's assume 1 is here and 2 is the one on this side. So in my 20 seconds, 20 seconds, 20 seconds, and 20 seconds. And you know, definitely once you have done this, and you've done this, you not get the answer automatically. You know that it is this one. Automatically, you know that it is this one. So at least you would have saved 20 seconds compared to the 2 minutes. I used 2 minutes and some seconds just to calculate this, you know. And that's if you know what to do. That's if you understand the question and know what to do. Okay, because of time, let me quickly go to some other questions that I have. We're going to do the shortcut straight. Now I'm picking a logarithm question. You have log k plus log k minus 3 equals 1. Now you have options to be a to b 5, c minus 2, d minus 5. Okay, now let's quickly treat this. Remember, just all you need to do is just to put in they are to the base of 10. All you need to do is just put in the first option, that's log 2 plus log 2 minus 3. It is definitely not this, because this one gives minus and you don't have that in log. Let's take that out. Let's try the next one. Log 5 to the base of 10 plus log, remember I said you have to do some mentally. This should be 2. Let's see, will this give us 1? Now remember that first law, plus log m times n equals to log m plus log n. So that means I can bring this back to become what? To become log 5 times 2 to the base of 10. And what is 5 times 2? 10 to the base of 10. What's 10 to the base of 10? 1. So the answer is definitely B. You've done it just like that. You've gotten the answer just like that. You move on to the next question. Then let's go to another question. Log 2x minus 3 plus 1 equals to log 10. Now the options for this: 1, a is 1, b is minus 2, c is 2, d is minus 3. Okay, now let's quickly try this and see. Putting 1 here is definitely not it, because this will give me a minus. Remember, you don't have minus in log. This will give me a minus, so that's why I said sometimes you have to be smart with it. So putting minus here will give me minus, and putting this minus 2 will definitely give me even a larger minus here. So it is not this one. Still, I have just cut these two in the space of 10 seconds. Let's cancel the fact that I am explaining. Let's assume I'm doing it. I've cancelled this one just because I noticed it will be minus. This one to be minus. That's like 5 seconds. I've cancelled these two. Now this is a candidate. In fact, this one is not even the answer. This one cannot be the answer. So without solving anything, I already know that this is the answer. Without solving anything, I already know this is the answer. And let's try if it is true. Log, and I cancel this one. Why? Because it's also negative. If I put it here, it will even be a larger negative. So let's try 2 times 2 here, 4 minus 3, 1. Log 1 plus 1 equals to log 10. If there is nothing down here, it's still 10. It means it's still 10. And what is log 1 base 10? It is what? 0. 0 plus 1 should give us 1. And what is log 10 base 10? 1. So that's the answer. Very fast. I've solved it. I solved this question. I solved it in the space of I solved it in the space of 10 seconds, just this question, as large as it is. And for the last one I'm going to be treating is log x base 2 minus 2 log 2 base x equals 1. And what are the options? You have a to be minus 1, you have, oh sorry, this one is minus 1. Okay, you have b to be 2, you have c to be minus 2, you have d to be 1. Okay, so let's try it. First and foremost, you should already have gotten the gist that this one won't be the answer, this one will be the answer, because this one will be negative by the time you put it, this one will be negative by the time you put it. So this one of these two is the candidate. So let's try for this. Now log 2 base 2, that's 1. Remember, I'm doing it mentally. If I put 2 here, log 2 base 2 is 1. If I also put the 2 here, so it's still log 2 base 2, which is still another 1. 2 times 1, and what is 1 minus 2? Minus 1. This is the answer. Straightforward. You've solved it very easily. That is that for the shortcuts on indices and logarithm. If you have any question, if any question is posing a challenge to you, private chat me or post it in the group. I'm going to attend to the question. Thank you very much. I remain Olasende Faith. And yeah, if you like this video, please subscribe and you can drop a comment. Thank you very much. I am Olasende Faith. Bye.